Since 1994, Tellin Tales Theater has been dedicated to the personal story. We have created a safe yet very exciting place for kids and adults with and without disabilities to mine their memories, connect to their passions, and open their hearts, all while stretching their preconceived notions of what's possible physically and emotionally. Now, Tellin Tales enters the world of fashion to find the pure essence of beauty. How does fashion empower each of us to feel beautiful, vital, connected? Everybody has a fashion story. Let's hear those of our designers and models. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find pieces of your story in theirs.
What inspires you as a designer?
What inspires me as a designer includes almost any visual element that I can observe in the natural world, whether it be animals, nature, architecture, color, periods in history. So just about anything.
The inspiration for the show for me comes from the conversations that I have with my models, and just conversations about what is it like for you. And I found myself shaking Nora's hand several times, like, oh, you have this too, oh, I have that too. And so that's how the design element is going to come from.
Most of my clients, I do a lot of couturier, like I do custom pieces for people. So it's pretty much getting to know that person, getting to know, what their ideas are, what they're about, choosing fabrics, choosing style lines, and kind of putting the whole story together.
I find it incredibly inspiring to listen to somebody's story, listen to who they are and what they like and what their style is, and then pull that all together into something that they can wear.
How does fashion empower you?
It says, world, here I am. Because as a little girl, I can kind of remember those look away messages that I received. As a little girl who walked with crutches and braces, and mothers snatching their little kids to tell them to look away. So for me now, embracing who I am, fashion says, hey world, I have a right to be seen and to shine just like everyone else.
Fashion empowers me almost in every facet of my life. I'm a big fan of buttons and a big fan of flashy color, so I try to incorporate that in my wardrobe as much as possible, considering Chicago has some gloomy days.
The way fashion empowers me is that it allows me to present my best self.
People are going to look at me anyway. I better look good.
What makes you feel beautiful or handsome?
I feel beautiful because I have the freedom to express myself in many ways, especially through fashion. If I want to do something different with my hair or put on more drastic makeup and wear bright colors, I can. And so that freedom of expression is something that makes me feel beautiful.
A good haircut. If I'm having, if I'm having like a good hair day and if things are fitting well and I don't have to hurry to get out of the house and, if everything's put together okay, yeah.
My dog. When I'm out in the world with her, she's my best accessory, and she makes me feel independent, and that makes me feel beautiful.
How has your disability impacted what you choose to wear?
When I was younger, I used to walk with leg braces and crutches, and because of that, it was full-length body cast braces. And because of that, I had to wear pretty much mostly dresses. Pants wouldn't fit over the braces, and so I spent years and years and years wearing only dresses. And I stopped walking about age 13 or 14, and it was at that point that I just would refuse to wear dresses.
I have to be really careful about low-waisted things. They'll hit me the wrong way. Certain pants I can't wear because the rise is too high. If I buy off the rack, I have to find clothing, sometimes with shorter sleeves, like this sweater, didn't have to be altered.
I feel for me, more than my cerebral palsy, I have a heart condition. And that heart condition, one of the characteristics of it is that people who have the heart condition I have, Marfan syndrome, tend to be very tall. So I have to find clothes that fit me. I have to find pants that can be worn by a 6-foot tall person.
Like what's easy to put on or take off, for one thing. There are some things that I can't wear simply because, for example, shortening the sleeves too much would impact the body of the garment.
Due to polio, my legs have atrophied, so I never wore anything that didn't cover my legs. I never wore short dresses or shorts.
The arthritis sort of impacts what I'm going to wear by how easy or how difficult is it for me to get on and off, based on my hands or my legs or whatever it is. And then the blindness is, can I tell what color it is?
Describe the designs for this show and any special techniques being used to make them more accessible.
For one of the outfits I'm creating, the inspiration is steampunk because she really likes that, so do I, which is sort of a mashup between Victorian style and kind of antiquated technology in sort of a utopian kind of vision. So her outfit's going to reflect those elements, and I'm going to actually build like the steampunk technology into the accessibility. It's going to be pretty cool. It'll be like, oh wow, yeah. So it's cool and accessible. The other outfit I'm creating is sort of it harkens back to another era, but it's also very elegant and flowy, and it's going to be very vibrant and colorful.
I basically ask my models the type of materials so they feel comfortable with, and also the styles that they are going for. So a lot of time is what makes them feel comfortable, and how can I add, for example, techniques like embroidery or very tiny, just decorative sewings on parts of the surface.
I said that I wanted to look like a sex symbol. I wanted to emphasize my breasts because I'm a survivor of breast cancer, and I'm like 2 years out and healthy now. And so I said, let's emphasize the breasts in some way. And also I have scoliosis. And I said, you know what, let's emphasize the scoliosis. Let's see, what we can do with maybe some sparkles along that line.
Because I can't wear heels, which means that the shoes aren't as, elegant and pretty as the rest of the outfit may be, she was gonna take an existing pair of my shoes and jazz them up with sequins and, things like that.
He's going with longer zippers for easier access, possibly suspenders, limited closures, just like a really cool, dapper look, kind of almost like a zoot suit, jazz era. I just see power, swing, a sure self.
What's your earliest fashion memory?
My earliest fashion memory would include all of the ruffled socks that my mom used to buy me, the lacy ruffle socks. I used to do tap dance when I was a child, so having that little special sparkle around my ankles definitely was one of my most fond memories.
I got to be in an annual fashion show as a little kid for Easter Seals. I got to be in it when I was 85 years old, and I wore a black leather skirt and a leather print shirt.
I can't remember how old I was, but I was probably 4, and it's all about the shoes. They were, my first pair that I remember were pink patent leather Mary Janes, and they had a button closure, and they were the coolest. And I try to find them, wherever I go in women's sizes, but can't. So.
When I was a little girl growing up in the city in an apartment building, we had a small hallway, and I would pretend to be a fashion model and dress up in my most beautiful clothes, and I would pretend to be a runway model and just put one foot in front of the other and, you know, pose. And it was a great sort of role playing in the fashion sort of scene.
I was 3 years old and it was Easter. And I got the really like these shiny white shoes with a little bow on the toe, and I was so excited. And I actually went walking into my grandfather's room. My grandparents were living with us at the time. And I wanted to show him my white shoes because I was so excited about these shoes. It was my first pair of dressy shoes that I can remember. And unfortunately, I got to the threshold of his room and I actually wound up falling. The shoes had a slippery sole, and because of the crutches that I was on, I had to really be careful choosing shoes, you know, to keep balanced. And I wound up slipping on the wood floor and falling.
I was in the hospital, and there was a nun there named Sister Mary Thekla, and she would bring in different pieces of clothing for me to like play with. And she got me, I remember wearing like this really fancy turban, and I had a scarf, and there's this picture of me just going,
What do you want the audience to take away from this show?
Fashion is for everyone, instead of just for the skinny, tall, model-looking people that we see in the fashion magazines and on runway shows. That it needs to be accessible to everyone.
We all have a rightful place in fashion, and if you can apply it to fashion, you can apply it to your life.
Fashion oftentimes is sold in a size chart, but no one really fits that size chart, and everybody has their own unique shape and size and wants and desires, and it's important that the fashion industry as a whole finds ways to fill those needs.
If there is a message from the current fashion industry or from the society that makes you feel vulnerable about how you look at yourself, is use that as a power for you to make a statement and a power for you to think about what you would like to present yourself through fashion.
To know that beauty, fashion, the concept of beauty and image in this culture is much more than what we see on a day-to-day basis.
Beauty is both skin deep, and beauty is inside you. Like, you're beautiful, everyone's beautiful. It's just how you want to present yourself, and every day you just have to get up and live your life and be who you are and be true to yourself.
just bring out your personality from within, and you're going to look great on the outside.